Hello everyone, I'm John Furrier. We are here in Paris, France for CUBE exclusive coverage of Raze Summit 2025. This is kind of like the inaugural year, technically second year, but it's a big show, obviously AI going global. So many things to talk about on the international stage, sovereign cloud, AI in use cases starting to be realized, and visibility on economics and value. Of course, the continuing explosion on the technology side, up and down the stack, from faster chips, systems, to actually great business logic at the application layer. Alison Wagonfeld is here. She's the CMO of Google Cloud. Big exhibit here, friend of theCUBE, CUBE alumni. Alison, great to see you. Thanks for coming on. We're in Paris.
We're in Paris.
Bonjour. It's morning here. Thanks for
Great.
coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I have to say, we've been covering Google Cloud really since the beginning. I remember when App Engine came out, the glory days, but watching the growth of this market, it's kind of a level setter because it's almost a next generation shift. Obviously, we talk about that a lot, but now you're starting to see kind of re-platformization as a trend in security and everywhere else. IT is horizontal now, you're seeing parallel processing, all these tech trends, but the impact is clear. I mean, people say bubble, okay, it's very bubblicious in the sense of hype, but there's clear lines of sight into visibility on the value proposition of AI, and you guys had a slew of victories over the past, I'd say year, maybe go back 2 years, ecosystem, OpenAI, just the list goes on and on. You guys are really capturing the growth as CMO. It's good for you because you can put the story together. Give us an update on what some of the updates, because it's kind of our mid-year review. You guys have been doing great. Give us a quick update on the Google Cloud.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's great to be here in Paris. And yeah, last time I think I saw you was at our Cloud Next event in April in Las Vegas, so we get to hang out at all the fun places. And it's certainly been a tremendous growth trajectory. I think we first met and maybe did an interview in 2017 or 2018, and in many ways it felt like the early days, and we had always been focused on machine learning at Google, of course, and AI. And I think in 2016 is when our CEO Sundar announced that Google was an AI first company. But certainly in the last year or two, it's really accelerated. And so I look at it in a couple different dimensions. One is Google's investing truly in the full stack of everything from the infrastructure, from the chips, our TPUs, we also work with NVIDIA and GPUs, all the way into building models. I mean, certainly our Gemini models are world class, as well as many of our other generative media models like Veo and Lyria, and we have a number of great models, open source as well. Then we've been working on the applications, like Gemini's built into Gemini Workspace, working on agents, and of course that's like the term everywhere here, agentic.
Exactly.
And so we've been building up and down the full stack, and then at the same time really building out horizontally with all of our partnerships. Now Gemini's getting embedded with many of our different partners. One of our newest announcements with Databricks recently, but of course all of the biggest ISVs. And so it's truly an incredible time, and to be a marketer in this time, to both be able to tell the stories of how all the customers, our customers are using AI, and to be the user of AI ourselves. And it's really changing how all of the marketing is getting done. So I definitely feel like we're living at a particularly special point in time. You
know, it's interesting, at Google Next, your event, that you, first of all, your job is really hard now because you have so many value propositions to kind of like talk about. You can go speeds and feeds down to into the supercomputer level with the TPUs all the way up to kind of some of the cool ease of use. But you look at Google Next, one of the things that jumped out at me was the simplicity of how you guys are offering to the customers, but under the hood, I heard terms like AI native inside Google, and which I took away as meaning, you're using AI internally to the products like BigQuery and other examples where you're making AI better inside the product to enable the customers. That was one. And then the DeepMind, you mentioned that's a research you guys are applying, and it's not even applied research, it's direct contribution to the products.
Yes.
It's not like, hey, we're doing some cool research, there's save the world research, and then there's applied research, and there's like a new category of research vectoring into the products.
Yeah, no, I mean like basically Demis and the DeepMind team are working on models all the time, and as the models become mature, like the Gemini 2.5 Pro or others, we make those available through Vertex to our customers, but we also take those models and integrate them into our products, you said, like BigQuery and others, so that every step of the way, our customers are able to use our AI. I mean, that's why at Next we announced we had over 500 customers building with our AI and seeing value from that now, like true ROI.
Yeah. It's interesting, that trend is translating into the market. I have multiple interviews I've done over the past year, and I kind of noticed it after Next, is that the most successful AI companies, your customers, and even you're starting to see VC firms like Databricks' original founding investor, Pete Sonsini, Loud Ventures, they got the research going on. People are building in-house research teams just to stay ahead to make sure that the models are there, so that's translating into the execution of the go-to-market for people serving AI, but also the customers are building research internally. How does that affect what you do? Because now you have to market, you're basically market research to research.
Well, it depends how you define research. I mean, so there's very few companies that are truly building frontier models, like Google, and what we find is our customers research in terms of they are comparing and contrasting models day in, day out, and building an interface and being able to say, oh, Gemini is outperforming now. In fact, I was just talking to a friend who's the CEO of a startup, and she pinged me over the weekend and said, now we've switched everything over to Gemini. And so they're day in, day out, companies are building to determine what's best for them, and then are able to translate what they're learning into how they can put the AI into market and use for their own customers.
It's interesting, maybe it's better said, customer AI competency centers is one big trend. Quasi, I guess you're right, not true research, but like they have to kind of get their plans together. I mean, a lot of companies have to, it's complex, and the enterprise is a little bit more complex than say a straight builder. So it's very interesting. The thing that I want to also ask you is that we saw this year, the big surprise, that to me was a great surprise, was MCP. That was become a great protocol for in the agent world, because it's a rallying point. And now A2A, which you guys pioneered or drove a lot of that openness. I was talking to Jim Zemlin last night from the Linux Foundation. That's now going to be a major part of the Linux Foundation. So you got MCP and A2A working on key technology. And it seems like the builders are rallying around this, almost kind of like a de facto part of the stack. What's the buzz internally? How do you guys view this? What was the approach? Obviously open wins, we love open.
Yes. So using all of our TLAs, or three-letter acronyms, MCP, A2A. So we had announced both of those at Cloud Next in terms of our support for MCP, but also our announcement of A2A, so it's agent-to-agent protocol. And so that's enabling, as people are building agents, for example, our new product, Agentspace, they're building agents, but we want to ensure that those agents can interact with other companies, so that if Workday, for example, is building agents, or Oracle building agents, or any of the customer service now, that our agents can interact with each other in a secure way. And so that will enable all enterprises to scale much faster. So that certainly most enterprise companies use multiple types of ISV software providers, and we want to ensure that what we are building with the Google Cloud, or companies that are building with Google Cloud, that those agents can work with each other. And so what we've built in is connectors using that protocol. And so we're seeing that already, even connectors with an Agentspace to Microsoft, so that companies can truly get value right away. And that's some of the most exciting parts of what we're seeing right now with AI.
And I think that builds on the heritage you guys have in data, because these little key features enable a lot of scale, and also seamless integration. So that kind of brings me to my next question, which is, I always say on theCUBE, platforms are great, but if you don't have an ecosystem, it's not really working. So one of the things that's near and dear to your heart as well as the ecosystem, you guys did a lot of work. What are some of the results? We saw some of the big names are doing very strong business with Google Cloud. Obviously the uptake on the entrepreneurial side, the startup and fast growing companies are using Google Cloud. Explain what's going on in the ecosystem, just what the vibe is like, what some of the results are, and what your plans are.
So we look at the ecosystem in a really broad sense. So there's the SIs, and we're working with all of the global integrators. Then there's all of the, so like the Accentures and Deloittes of the world. Then there's all of the ISVs that we're working with day in, day out. I mentioned a few of those, like Salesforce is a really important partner and customer. And then there's our Google Cloud Marketplace. So all of our partners can actually build and then share what they're building so that our customers can then buy and use software from Google Cloud and from our partners in the marketplace. And now we're actually seeing hundreds, thousands of agents getting built, and then those will be available on our marketplace. And so we've seen the ecosystem explode in growth. I mean, you saw it at Cloud Next, where we had 35,000 people there, but hundreds and hundreds of exhibitors and booths, and so much transaction actually happening in place, because we believe that with AI, and that's why we've built this full stack approach and this open approach, is that companies really want to be able to work with the ecosystem and not have to choose and only go down one path. And that's why we're focused on supporting all of our partners.
I think one of the things that people might not know is that you guys spend a lot of work to make integrating into Google Cloud really easy, because there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood. But the ease of use is where the integration and uptake is on the customer side. Any stories you can share around use cases, customer traction, where you're seeing kind of a big lift right now?
Yeah, so we're seeing across every industry vertical, like we announced at Cloud Next, the McDonald's, who was using our platform to be able to all the way into their edge point areas. We're seeing in financial services, we're seeing hundreds of retailers. LVMH just announced how they're using our technology in their stores. So everything from e-commerce, both Shopify and also to be able, as a partner, Shopify, but also be able to extend our technology to work with their customers. So we really think about how do we enable our customers and partners to be able to enable their customers and partners.
It's funny, I've talking to a lot of people like, oh yeah, we check all the models now, they do the same prompts, they integrate in, and Gemini has come out to be very strong on the results. Probably not a surprise to you guys, but what's been your takeaway from the Gemini success? Just hard work, better tech? Why is Gemini soaring so fast?
So if you look at the the Pareto frontier, so to speak, on every one of those different dimensions now, Gemini is at the edge. It's the combination of the performance and the price, which is why Gemini is really doing so well, because our customers, we have so many different variations of the models. Like for example, we have the flash models that you can use that are faster, cheaper, and so we're enabling our customers when they use Vertex AI to pick the model that's of the highest value to them. And the team is constantly training and updating and putting out new models. But it's not just the Gemini models. We were going to talk about marketing. It's, for example, the Veo models, the video models. Have you played yet with the new Veo 3 where you can prompt and then you get actually an audio response in addition to a video response?
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. Some of, we're already seeing new ads get built purely based on prompting.
We're already building the CUBE replacement because now I can get a human agent that looks like a human doing CUBE interviews. So I'm going to be out of business.
With audio as well. You're going to.
I love Notebook LM.
You're scaling yourself.
No, it really is. The content side is just phenomenal, and that comes back down to the two hot areas. Coding and sales and marketing are the two areas that every single person I talk to is like, that's their first entree into rolling up their sleeves and getting value, like immediate value. So in some cases, revenue generation, and in most cases, cost reduction. So, I mean, there's some job replacement going on, but the jobs are shifting. We're seeing that. What are you doing? Because I know as a CMO, you have been doing marketing. You've been a marketer. You know the playbook. Pre-AI, and now, which is the MarTech stack. Now you got post-AI. What's changing? Because every CMO that I talk to, one, not only is under a mandate from their leadership, but their company and their customers. Align with me and make it easier, because you got personalization opportunities, you got all kinds of new things, you have data, customer data, so there's easy use cases to just knock out of the park. What are some of the things you're doing to build that muscle, given you got the inside scoop on all the tech?
For sure, like marketers have always complained, we never have enough people, we never have enough money, we can never personalize well enough, and we can never measure well enough.
We're the leads.
So these are like the 4 common challenges, so I'll hit all of them. So people, for the first time I have agents on my org chart. So when those teams are like, we can't hire more people, they're actually now building an agent to be able to do like lead qualification, or agent to do personalized types of emails, or really common use of agents now is for vertical marketing. So we might be able to create something, a report that seems broad, and then like, okay, well how would we customize this for industry verticals? So we're using agents there. We are able to save lots of money in terms of building assets. So what used to happen, marketers slice, like, might do a video and slice and dice it many different ways. We're now using agents in our own AI technology, and sometimes with partners as well, like companies working with WPP or Monks or others, to be able to create custom assets just kind of instantly, like that. The personalization of being able, we've been talking that forever.
The marketing to one has been like a cliche.
Like that's been,
come on,
yes,
now
like,
it's possible.
Now it's possible. And so we've been able to do that. And also in measurement, there's been a really big change. We're effectively talking with our data as marketers and being able to just kind of, in plain English communications, like help me understand what happened with that campaign recently. So the
and no fluff either. It's like legit. It's like direct data.
Direct data coming right back at you, and Gemini and Looker.
Yeah.
It's also working in terms of, we might generate leads. Obviously, as a B2B company, we generate lots of leads. And we then qualify it. So with sales development reps, being able to really speed up the work that's happening there, to be able to help with the scripts, to help with the recording of, the help with the summarization, all of that, every step along the way of marketing is really changing right now, real time. And I think one of the fastest and hardest things to do is to train an organization at scale. So what we've done, which has been effective now, is this concept of AI boost bites, where every week we put out these little 10-minute clips about
what's it called? AI what?
AI boost bites. We're like,
boost
how do we
bites.
boost
bites?
Like
little
nuggets.
Bites. Little nuggets.
Little nuggets
snacks.
every week.
Snackables.
So we are doing, AI snackables, so that everything that we can learn can scale out to all the people in our team.
Because you
quickly.
get data off that, so it might not be long form like what we do, but the snackables give you data. What resonated, doubling down on that, campaign
and also
adjustment?
just training, so like, somebody will be like, I created a gem, which is basically something that I can do over and over again with AI. This is how I did it, show here's my step-to-step plan. Then we could train the whole organization on how to do that. So it's, the upskilling and training is so critical right now.
So as a marketer, one of the things that I observe and with my CMO friends is the budgeting has been siloed. I got a training budget, you mentioned training, I got a go-to-market budget, I got a demand gen budget, I got earned media on PR, I got analysts. So you have all of these departmental silos, and one of the beautiful things about what we're living in now is that it's a horizontal and parallel market. Parallelization.
I would say it's more like a flywheel.
How would you describe the organization of what's the ideal in your mind, knowing what you know, because you guys are innovating, what's the pro tip on just thinking around how to scale up this next gen marketing approach? Is there structural issues around change management, around organizations? Is it budget? How would you advise folks? Because sometimes like, well, we don't have budget for that, the training budget. Well, with the snackables and things like that, you can actually get a lot of the training from another purpose, the reuse, the leverage.
Yeah, so I'd look at it a couple ways. So at a broad level, as a CMO, we're thinking, how do we save money and how do we accelerate growth? And so we are building out all of our AI use cases with those two lenses. And then we have some that are just enabling everybody at scale to be able to use Gemini, to be able to do everything and just build it. And then some things are really structural, or we're building in like, how do we do all of our demand gen overall? And sometimes we'll work with our tech teams on pieces of this, and some of it, for something with Agentspace, we can build our own agents directly. So what we've had to do is look at it in a pretty broad sense. Enablement of individuals, then being able to kind of work with teams, and then be able to pull in our tech team as to be able to help set us all up for success.
Awesome. Final question, what are you excited about right now? You had the great success at next first half of the year. As you go out looking at the second half of the year, what's your plans? What are you optimizing for Google Cloud? And what are you personally excited about?
I'm excited about the explosion of the technology for our own team, personally. When we talked about some of the newer Gen Media assets, and just seeing everybody light up the delight that comes in with using the technology, and to be able to prompt a video and see how it can show up and be like, okay, that can change what we do. I'm excited about our customers. The customer stories every day. I'm hearing new customer stories of the savings, what they could do differently, the growth trajectory. So that gets me super excited. And I also, as an entrepreneur at my core, I previously worked in venture capital. I've been working in startups forever. I've been in touch with startups right now,
Yeah.
and the explosion, and in many ways I feel like Google Cloud is now the engine of growth for this
Yeah.
next generation of AI startups, where maybe in that kind of the first
Yeah.
phase of cloud, Google Cloud was a little
Yeah.
bit later in there, but I feel like now we're at the center of the action and the energy, and every day when startups are telling me how
Yeah.
they're using our models and our platform and our new tech to be
Yeah.
able to grow and scale, and in places like this, of just seeing all these
By
startups
the way, the
grow.
startups are a great market. I was talking to Martin Mikos last night. There's a big slush event in Finland that they do. A lot of the demographics are younger. And we were joking, it's like, hey, if you're 25 years old, you were using Google Docs in middle school.
Right.
So the collaboration, the tooling, the interface, I know you got the CLI for Gemini, that's kind of old school, but that's still great. As the entrepreneurs come in, their ability to execute,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of pain in the early stages of startups, as you know. You've
Yes.
been there. It's always messy, it's a feature, not a bug. So getting that first milestone or beachhead position or customer really comes down to the product.
Yes, and so
And-
when we're talking to founders, and they effectively say it's the age of the tiny company, but with Gemini and with Google on their team,
Yeah.
and Google Cloud technology from the get-go, where
Yeah.
they're building, as you said, with Google for Workspace right off the bat. Like the first
Yeah,
thing you do,
yeah.
you get
It's
your
comfortable.
domain, and then you use that, and then you start building right away. Maybe when you start with AI Studio, and then you scale over
Yeah.
into Vertex AI.
Yeah.
You're using all of our models for growth. You're using
Yeah.
all of our tech. You're being able to build and scale. I love Google as the engine
Yeah.
for growth of so many different companies, from the biggest
Yeah.
enterprises in the world all the way to the brand new startups.
Yeah.
That is what gets me excited.
Alison, if we were in college together, we'd be kind of in our dorm rooms like, okay, let's share this code with the agent. Because now you have the agent assistants coming in too on the code.
Yeah, I mean, that's
massive.
what Agentspace is all about. Like, we'll be able to, a startup will be able to
Yeah.
use Agentspace to be able to grow and build and set up.
It's interesting, I was
their
talking
agents.
last night, again, this comes up a lot. And this is the first time in my history of living in my life seeing entrepreneurship at the teen level. You're seeing 15-year-olds in high school coding because they can.
Yeah.
And they're moving fast. They don't need, because they have all the horsepower with Google Cloud, they have all the capabilities, and it's just natural to them. They're just like
Yeah,
slinging
they're
apps out like it's
building-
nobody's business.
Yeah, and they are able to converse in English
Yeah.
effectively, or whatever language they're speaking in, with the models, and to be
Yeah.
able to build and deploy and scale. Yeah, no, it's a golden age of growth and entrepreneurship.
it's phenomenal.
And I love that Google and
Yeah.
Google Cloud is here
Yeah.
to help support that golden age.
I always say I wish I was 20 again. Last two weekends ago I vibe coded and built 4 apps. I haven't coded in 25 years. But I kind of figured it out because it did all the work. I didn't have to write a line of code.
No.
I'm like, okay, no CLI, no IDE, nothing, just pure coding. And I think this is another factor just to close out on the ecosystem, because I think, again, that's proof, to me, proof point for cloud and now on-prem AI is, what is the ecosystem doing? Jim Anderson, his team, we've been telling some stories with his group, and one of the things that's fascinating is that not only the ISVs getting stronger in terms of capabilities, the ability to integrate inside the ecosystem is its own dynamic. It used to be,
Yes.
hey, I'm on the cloud, lift and shift, build some apps, scale up. Now you have this scale out
Yeah.
ecosystem, peer-to-peer sharing, MCP, A2A, APIs, so you have kind of a whole nother power dynamic in a good way.
Yeah. No, it's a great,
Your
because
thoughts
then
on that?
the companies and the startups are the bigger companies with the greatest insights, the proprietary data, but can really understand a customer pain point
Yeah.
and problem and build for that, will be able to build, scale, deploy, and use things like our cloud marketplace to get their offerings out as quickly as possible.
And you're investing more in the ISVs and the ecosystem.
100%
Yeah,
investing in
yeah,
the ecosystem
yeah.
every step of the way. It's core to
Yeah.
our growth, and it's core to how
Yeah,
our
yeah.
customers and their customers want to interact.
We could do a whole segment on startups. We could do a whole segment on how channels are changing.
Yes.
I mean, I was hearing some use cases where some of your big GSIs are actually operating on behalf
Yeah.
of the large enterprises.
Yeah,
Their-
and some
their
of the
cloud
biggest
service.
GSIs are the biggest builders of agents on Agentspace right
Yeah,
now, so they
yeah.
are making those available
Yeah.
on Agentspace. So
Yeah.
it's really
Higher gross margins for
changing.
them, more
Yes.
services. Alison, thanks for coming on
Yeah.
theCUBE.
Well,
here
thank you.
in
It's
Paris.
great to be here.
We're in Paris, France. It's really easy for us to be here. It's an international scene. Again, everyone's here. Huge global market expansion. The geography boundaries change with entrepreneurship. It's no more boundaries, but you got sovereign cloud, you got a lot of AI growth. This is theCUBE. I'm John Furrier, your host. Thanks for watching.
Great. Thank you.